Hi, everyone. I am Olivia Ponton, and I am so excited to join the Earth Day 2024 virtual stage with Earth Day Initiative Executive Director John Oppermann.
Yeah, thank you for having this conversation. I'm super excited to talk to you about this.
Earth Day Initiative is launching a campaign to connect people to things they can do to take climate action and save money. Can you tell us what the campaign is a little bit about?
Yeah, so really at Earth Day Initiative, and I think a lot of environmental nonprofits see this, we see that people are really clamoring to do things, but they're just overwhelmed about what to do. The challenges seem so big, and then there's like a list of like 100 things that you could do to green your lifestyle or make a positive impact, but it's really difficult to sort through, okay, how do I even begin? So we try to break things down into easy to understand terms. And one of the biggest things that people can do right now, because of all of the legislation that has come out of the Biden White House with the Inflation Reduction Act, is take advantage of all of the huge amount of savings that people can get from doing things like home energy efficiency upgrades, buying an electric car, installing renewable energy at home. There's all of these things that people can do, and we're trying to fulfill that demand of like, what can I do? Like, how do I even get started on this kind of stuff? And the way that this is all structured is the Inflation Reduction Act provides the path for climate action in this country. So it's really essential that people actually do these things because we don't hit the targets laid out in things like the Inflation Reduction Act unless people actually take advantage of those savings and they install more energy efficient windows and doors. They make energy efficiency upgrades. They buy an electric vehicle. So we are trying to connect people with this climate action guide to everything that they can do. So here's all the stuff that you can do laid out. Here are the resources you can go to. Here's how you actually take action on it and not get too overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I was even thinking about this earlier today of how overwhelming it is. I think just for my personal generation. And I think having something where it's very laid out and especially having like a person that people can directly look to, like for these, since it is so overwhelming, just having like the
Mhm.
straight context to this, I think is very important.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
And sorry, I was just going to say that I really feel for people that want to do the right thing because I work in this area. Like my day job is sustainability. And even for me and anyone on our team, it's overwhelming. And to be able to sort through it is tough. So that's what we want to provide this benefit for.
love it. Why do you think it's important for people to take advantage of these tax credits and initiatives?
Because really, the only way that we're going to see climate action in this country at the moment is if people act on it. Right now, people really hold the keys to America's climate action plan. We don't have the political will or any of the close to what we would need as far as legislation in this country right now to ban fossil fuels. So there's not a specific plan to say, after this date, we're going to be off of fossil fuels. It's really all carrots and there's no sticks. So it's just carrots of incentives of if you do this, you can get thousands of dollars in savings, or if you do that, you can get thousands of dollars in savings. So it's things like home energy efficiency upgrades. Our building supply is a huge part of our overall carbon footprint. So if we make our buildings more energy efficient, that goes a long way to addressing climate change than with our vehicles. That's one of the things that I think feels most personal to people where they get in their car, they're like, I don't really know what else I'm supposed to do. I have to get where I need to go. If we don't have a great public transportation system, like a lot of the country, you have to drive places. Well, opting for an electric car is how we're going to get there. So being a part of that solution with home energy efficiency upgrades or electric cars, that's really why it's important because we don't have the ban on fossil fuels that we need. And this is the next best thing. And it's really people are empowered to make that difference right now.
Hmm, That's like a very I like that a lot. Could you give us maybe some more examples for like maybe the younger generation, I guess more
Yeah.
people in general of how they could be saving money on these things or just more things that they could save money on?
Yeah. So the tough part for younger people is a lot of the things that are included in like the Inflation Reduction Act and other legislation it's a lot of incentives for like homeowners, or if you're in the position of buying a car, which I realize this isn't great advice if it's like, well, okay, I rent, what am I supposed to do? But that leads into our other thing that we're always telling people to do, which is be a climate communicator. And it's the idea that there are certain issues, and climate change has really suffered from this. And I think it's changing recently, but historically, it's really suffered from this. There's what experts call a spiral of silence around climate change, where people don't really talk about it. So, like, you want climate action, I want climate action, but because we don't talk about it, we both think that we're in the minority. Like, we think, oh, like, I don't think people really care about this. They're not really going to be motivated by this. But actually, more than 7 out of 10 people want robust climate action. But because we don't talk about it a lot, we don't know that. So the part for people who maybe aren't a homeowner, or they're not in a position to buy an electric car, maybe they live in a place where they don't need a car because there's great public transportation options. The best thing to do is talk about this stuff. So people really underestimate the influence they have in their own communities. And people in the advertising industry know this very well. So we've seen so many examples of like peer-to-peer marketing in recent years, where it's like, send this app to your friends, and if they join, then you get $25 off, because they know that that's the most powerful kind of marketing that you can have. So way more powerful than like a PSA that's like, save money on your home improvements, or like some politician talking on the news about it. If you mention it to people, they are way more likely to trust a trusted source, like someone that's like a family or friend, something like that, than if it's like something that they see on a billboard or like a PSA. And
Yeah.
that's like the really key part, that like, talk to your parents, talk to your family members that have homes or they're getting a car, or if you have friends that are in the position to do that, like, talk to them about it, post about it on social, send your family and friends that information. And that's really a lot more influential than I think people think.
Yeah, I very much agree with this, especially with like having, I guess, just my generation, we are so heavily on social media. And I think that is one of the most important things that people who do social media as a job, to relay this information
Yeah.
to the masses of people, because we have such a huge reach. And I always think, these people who follow us, they trust us and they are following us for our personalities. And if we have trusted information, this is where I also like to come from. I need to make sure that what I'm telling people is 100% right, because I want them to be able to come to me. And, other people are talking about this as well. I follow a great amount of people who talk about just social issues in general. And I think that way of word of mouth is so more, I would think it's just very much more effective than just a classic ad or the newspaper or the television for even.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think that sort of like social connection or like entertainment world is really powerful too. So lending your voice, whatever that avenue is that you have, we've seen this, that like, for instance, we'll go do some segment on like cable news, and we get an impact, and there's people that reach out to us or like are curious about what we're talking about. But then we do something on an entertainment channel. And the thing is, people want to be entertained. They don't want to be bogged down with like doom and gloom all day. But if you can seed this stuff into your life through social media or through social interactions, that's really powerful. And if you just make a point of like, I'm going to send this to like 5 people, you can feel like that actually does have an impact, because chances are it does.
Hmm, I agree with you on this. I agree with you 100%. Where do you think people can find more on the direct campaign, and what do you think they can also do about it?
Yeah, so people can find all of this information at earthdayinitiative.org. You can also find us on Instagram at Earth Day Initiative, where we're providing a lot of information about this. And if you go to our website at earthdayinitiative.org, then there's the whole climate action guide, where it provides like an explainer of all the different sort of incentives that you can get. You can get thousands of dollars for this, you can get thousands of dollars for that. And then how it works if you divide it up over multiple years. There's even a calculator provided by one of our partners, Rewiring America, where you can enter in your information about like where you live and the kind of stuff that you might want to pursue. And then it'll spit out all this information on like, you can save this amount and that amount and that amount. So it's really easy and straightforward. So you can do it in your own life, or like I said, like send it to your friends and family, like just shoot it off in an email and be like, oh, I thought this was interesting. Like, you have that home improvement project you've been talking about for forever, but like there's all this money that you could actually benefit from for that.
Mhm.
And just talking about it is really a super impactful thing that people can do right now.
Okay, beautiful. I think it's stunning. I think I'm definitely motivated to go and send this to a bunch of my friends now.
Yeah. And thank you for
Yeah.
doing this. Like, this is the kind of
Yes.
conversations that we're really happy that folks like you are having. So thank you.
Mhm. Me too. So thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.